Hey y'all, and welcome back to the channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jackie, and on this channel I talk about everything business, growing a business, money, and everything like that. But today I want to talk about YouTube, because if you are a creator and you are on YouTube and you are monetized, you will notice that in the month of October something happened behind the scenes. And there has been some videos out on this, but I want to actually show you proof behind the scenes of our analytics of what happened, because anyone that knows me, I don't just talk about it, I show it and explain it. So for those of you who may not know the situation, in the month of October, some creators, well, a lot of creators, notice an influx of revenue in their earns tab, ourself included. And I say our because this happened on our main channel. At the end of every month, we go in, and when I say we, I'm talking about my husband and I, we go in to see what we have made for that month. And it was on the earn tab. And I'll get into why I said was on the earn tab later on in the video. But we went in, and when the month closed, I want to get this number right, we had made $344.65. Now, of course, we were super excited because the last time we made $188 that was paid out in September, and it took us months. But for the month of October alone, we made $344.65. So we 1.5 times our income in 1 month. So I was like, oh, okay. So I was satisfied about that. Then all of a sudden, a few days later, it was on, let me see. Let me get the exact date. So I checked that on November 2nd. Then I went into the studio, and our payment that was headed our way for the month of November jumped up catastrophically to $877.69. And y'all will see that on the screen right here. I am so happy I took the screenshot. I think I took the screenshot because I was super excited. I said, what in the world? I went to my husband. I said, yo, we're getting paid $877.69. Now, I started thinking, I was like, okay, I just checked this a few days ago and it was at 344. So what in the hell happened? There was no way. So I started going into the analytics and started looking at the videos, and I started to manually calculate the actual numbers. And the numbers was the $344 that I just talked about. So I was like, I don't know, maybe YouTube was giving bonuses in October and everything like that. So I was like, okay, well, I'm not gonna be that culprit that says something and then all of a sudden everybody just lose the money, and then everybody's mad at me. So I just went along on my happy merry way. But then the next day, we got a message from YouTube. It said something about, oh, they found like a glitch and something was going on and they're working to rectify the problem. Now, I tried to get that screenshot for this video, but of course it was not there. I don't know where it was. So I just disregarded. I was like, okay, well, whatever. Maybe some people had something wrong with their earn tab. Y'all. So all of a sudden, later that night, I go back to the earns tab. Then the money jumped down to $579.95. So now I'm just like, okay, I'm like totally confused at this point. First you was saying I made $344. Then you jumped up and said I made $877. And now you're saying I made $579.95. So at this point, I honestly don't even know what the real number is. But it says to this day that that's how much money is coming to the account. Let me tell you something. I don't care if it's YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. I don't care if it's your boss. I don't care if you work at a company. I don't care where you work, if you have clients or anything. You have to watch your money. at all times, because this is exactly what will happen. They will play with you. It doesn't matter. If you're not tracking what is happening, they will play with you, and you think that's the money that you're getting. And I'm going to step in and show you why I'm still questioning it in the analytics, because I'm like, where in the hell is this money coming from? Okay, so as you can see, we're in the back end of our YouTube analytics. Let me refresh the screen so you know this is the channel. Okay, so for the month of October, because I have it filtered on October, we made $293.08. And we had a total of 38.3 views. To put into reference about the viewership, we put out a total of 11 videos. It was 9 long form and 2 lives that we put out. That obviously turns into videos at the end. So we were like, we had a pretty decent month. So I know you're like, okay, but that isn't the 344 that you talked about. So we have to go back to the previous month, because for the month of November, it was a combination of what we made in September and what we made in October to total up to that 344. Because if you do not meet the $100 threshold, you will not be paid out. And that's what happened a few months ago when we got paid out in September for 188. It took a couple of months to get to that 188. And the same thing with November. So we're being paid for September and October for the month of November. I also mentioned that I'm going to talk about the earns tab. Something has changed with that as well. Previously, we could just touch on the earns tab and we would see our earnings progressing throughout the month at any point in the month, of course, with it being a 2-day delay for processing. But now that whole feature is gone as well. So we can't even see that anymore. So you would have to go into your watch ads and actually click and go back to the month in order to see it. And you see, it says $292.49 for October. But if you notice in the Adsense, it says $293.08. Y'all, there is something wrong. There is something wrong. Something is happening with YouTube and the numbers and how people are getting paid. There is no way that I step into the phone, the app, and it's at $292.49 for the month of October. And then I'm looking on the computer for the month of October and it's at $293.08. So let me go back. Now that I'm doing this, let me go back to September. Okay, September is tracking that it should be 51.56 and it's tracking 51.57. So it might be off due to accounting, but still, it's still off. Like, you know, I'm in, for those of you who don't know, I'm in payroll. So I'm definitely looking at everything, but that 292, that's definitely off. That's definitely off. So I'm saying all of this. Y'all have to really look at what you're being paid, what you're anticipating being paid. I do this all the time with the clients because I get paid for billable hours. So I make sure that at the end of every month, I'm tracking how many hours that I work times my hourly rate. And that is what I am invoicing the client for. Even when I worked a job, way before I got the paycheck, I would look at the pay stub, and you'll be surprised how many people do not look at their pay stub, because that's the time when you can go back to the payroll department and say, hey, there's a discrepancy on my pay. Instead of, you know, once it actually goes through and hits your bank account, and then you have to go through that whole situation. So I wanted to come on, number one, for transparency. Number two, if there are some people out there that are confused about what is happening, I clearly just showed the proof so you can see what actually happened, and no one just sitting there talking about, oh, this is what happened. No, this is literally what happened. So If you enjoyed this video, make sure you tell me down below. Make sure you give this a like, and let's bring it down to the comments section to tell me what you think about this. Until next time, you guys, peace out.